So Adam, here it goes right here. If you could say, oh, blueberries, rhododendrons, they have to have an acid soil. They just will not grow without it. Well, that's not true. If you put the right stuff on them, you can grow them at pH 8 and 9, which is considerably over neutral on the alkaline side, and they will grow just fine. This does amazing things. Protect me with trees that are in trouble. This method will really turn around a sick tree. And in fact, Pat Rasmussen did fertile mulching at the Squaxin tribe over near Shelton on a whole bunch of fruit trees. I think they were almost all apples. And they forgot 2 of the trees. So she went back, and the trees that had been treated were going gangbusters, loaded with apples. So many apples they had to cancel their apple order from the tribe. And whereas trees had been I won't say disease-ridden and probably core producing, the 2 trees that got missed were still like that. They hadn't grown hardly anything. The others that had been treated grew huge in their girth, and the diseases went away, and the fruit was, overabundant, and it was perfect fruit and all of that. So this can do incredible things. Ideally, we would want this circle to come out at least to the drip line. This thing spreads so much, pretty off to the deep. She has taken the weed eater to this. We want to scalp it if we can right down to bare soil, but we'll go with what was read. We're going to put down this brew here, which is called Witch's Brew. And that consists of molasses, apple cider vinegar, liquid fish, and liquid kelp in equal quantities. So we want to get that on the ground and get it to soak down in there. And then we're going to put some biochar on, and then we'll put on what it is that affect minerals, but not only minerals, and that bloom fertilizer mix here, which has a lot of things in it. So this will go on top of the Witch's Brew, and we'll rake in the biochar. We'll rake the clippings back on. We'll put this down, and then we'll put down cardboard because we want to smother the grass or weeds, and the way we do it is with the cardboard. And that way you don't have the grass competing for nutrients with the tree, robbing the tree in effect of the nutrients it could have. So we're going to treat all of that. We're going to put this down, and then on top we would like to put a mulch, like shredded bark, or a series of mulches from fine to coarse, like grass clippings, leaves, and so forth, and then bark on top. So the other thing we should have done is go ahead and water it. The roots of a tree, like this tree here, are continually wanting to move out this way. So actually, the feeding roots of this tree are probably clear out here. Mm-hmm. And the roots that were started out back there, most of that has died off, and we can't even get it to take up the nutrients because there's no root hairs back there. It all moves out and it dies as it moves. The very front end of it, maybe a half an inch or so, is where most of the feeding takes place, and it's continuing to try to move out and exploit new territory. So even though we're not going to be doing that out here, I expect this is going to do a lot of good for the tree. There will be some uptake here. And We give it this combination of a liquid fertilizer and a powdery fertilizer, which has a whole bunch of things in it. I guess while she's gone, I'll read you what's in this. This is also a product that I developed. It's a version of the Steve Solomon's Complete Organic Mix. And this is one we call Tree and Shrub. And it has in it fish bone meal, soybean meal, cottonseed meal, clay phosphate, K-mag, calcitic lime, kelp meal, sulfate of potash, glacial rock dust, azomite, volcanic rock dust, lignite, copper sulfate, zinc sulfate, and manganese sulfate. So yeah, we want to wet this down first, and then we'll put this on. And I don't have specific measurements here to say, specific quantities, but whatever you can afford to do with this. And 10 pounds here, depending on the size of tree, would probably take care of a couple of trees, but big tree, you'd need a lot more. There comes a point at which the bigger it gets and the wider it gets, you get into a lot of fertilizer, and maybe it isn't so important once it gets really big and old. So, I guess to reiterate, the closer we get to the trunk, the less nutrient uptake you're going to have. The roots are going to be thicker, they're going to be older, and actually, as the roots get bigger, they develop what amounts to a coat or a skin on them. So they go from being white to being brown. And when they get to that stage, they're basically not picking up much in the way of nutrients. So let's go ahead and put this brew on.
So what was the timeline that saw the improvement on the fruit tree shoot report? Over the course of a year?
Say that again?
What was the timeline that Pat saw the improvement on her fruit trees?
You'll see it in the first year.
Really?
Yes. By the second year, it'll really take effect. Yeah. This is incredible what this does.
Yeah.
This is equal parts of molasses, apple cider vinegar, kelp meal, and fish. Liquid, yeah.
And I use the Pacific Grow
Oh, yes.
liquid fish fertilizers.
We use all farm too.
Gary, do you use this with this brew like on a regular bird and put specific
You could, yeah.
You fan.
Sure.
Let's go this.
Yep. Good. Biochar, that's it right there?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody want to do that for us? Spread the biochar around? I just know it.
Yeah. And feel forward.
Keeping
You followed it? Doing it all around? Yeah.
it all around.
Spread it thinly because there's not much there.
Yes, but
Yucko, get on your beds. Go.
There's some more here if you want. How big was?
Oh, face here. Look at this community biochar right here.
That's from Ken, right?
Yeah.
This is I presume
Like
everybody.
a 5-gallon bucket that you're putting on one tree.
For a crop dust.
Oh!
Depends on the size of the tree in part, but you want to get the ground good and wet here and get this stuff flour spread around it pretty well, It should work. I don't have hard and fast figures for it. So then he's got loppers. Then we're going to I'm going to put the minerals down. Lights for them. Let's see how we have. Okay, just that.
Pardon? Yeah. With him.
Bryn, we'll bring this tree back to life yet. Yucko, go.
Well, the tree is fairly healthy, for as it is. And but next year you'll have a bumper crop. We give hand. Yeah. Yes.
Same thing, just spreading all over.
Yep. We'll spread it out evenly. If you have a choice, opt for the outside rather than the inside.
Oh, okay.
But the roots want to move outward. Occasionally they'll go backwards or up and down, but most of the lateral roots will want to move out as far as they can get up to the limit of their genetic potential. And when we do this, we augment the genetic potential, we magnify it, so that it does things it might not otherwise do. There we go. So now we want to do the cardboard.
Or do we do the mulch first?
No, cardboard.
Cardboard first?
And the idea of the cardboard is to suppress the grass, and what you do is you try to overlap it everywhere you put it down. Overlap it some so the grasses and the weeds can't find any light. So if they can't find light, they're not able to grow.
That wasn't really that.
But when you get a chance, if you've got some bark, buy a bag of bark or something, and then with the bark on the top, and you can walk on it, and it'll hopefully capture moisture.
Is this all I see footed?
Yeah.
Right now, they're
So usually you'd want to do it lightest to heaviest.
yeah. If you have a thin or light mulch, it should go on first. And then the course that group we get off.
You're throwing down talking.
So, Pat says she has put in 70 projects in the Olympia area. Wow. Doing this. Wow. And she caught on to it, decided to try it, and was so amazed. She tried it at fertile ground in Olympia, near the library. And they were just so amazed with it that she just kept going on using it, because the trees they put it on were diseased. The leaves were more black than green, I guess. And they got diseases and were not producing. And I said, well, try this. They come back the next year. Disease is gone. Bugs are gone. We got so much fruit, we don't know what to do with it all.
I think that's actually a pretty good picture. You can clean each of the steps.
Yeah.
So you could do this on like rhododendron bushes or anything like that.
We do make a mix that we call rhodey blueberry mix, which might be better for it under blueberries, but either one will work, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you just change it like for pH or like what was?
Well, I developed a different philosophy about all of this after I developed these different with these different varieties, and was going largely by the conventional wisdom that rhododendrons and blueberries need an acid soil. So, Adam, here it goes right here. People say, blueberries, rhododendrons, they have to have an acid soil. They just will not grow without it. Well, that's not true. If you put the right stuff on them, you can grow them at pH 8 and 9, which is considerably over neutral on the alkaline side, and they will grow just fine. If you give them everything they need, they will grow in an acid soil, but they don't have to have it. So I've come around to the philosophy that you could make one formulation. If you get everything in there and you get it in the right balance, you could use it on anything, and it'll do very well.